On the other side of the border, mixed reaction to the U.S. capture of the Venezuelan president, with some members of the Venezuelan community celebrating the move. These were the scenes in Doral, Florida, where some are celebrating the U.S. for intervening. Some people say the abduction of Maduro was an example of justice being served, and they thanked President Trump. They say the U.S. intervention marks the beginning of the end of dictatorship in their home country. Nearly 8 million Venezuelans have fled the country since 2015. Due to political, economic, and social unrest. Well, the federal government is warning Canadians to avoid all travel to Venezuela, citing escalating security risks that could lead to the borders and airspace closing on short notice. With me now to discuss is Marty Firestone, president of Travel Secure Incorporated. Marty, good evening to you. So what are the main safety risks for travelers in Venezuela, according to the Canadian government and this travel advisory?
It's an extremely very fluid situation, and Canadians should avoid all travel to Venezuela. Level 4 is the highest you can get. The bottom line is it says avoid all travel, not non-essential, all travel. You can't get any higher. It's a red alert, and that's where it's at right now. The fear, of course, is the unrest and many other areas that come under this government upheaval and everything that's going on. The concern, even from the airlines, our Canadian airlines have allowed Canadians who have tickets up to a certain date, by the way, to make changes, not only for Venezuela, but also other South American countries and the Caribbean. That's where it gets a little scary. Is this going to affect people's travel to other countries, even other than Venezuela?
Well, let's talk about that. How might sudden border or airspace closures affect Canadians who are perhaps wanting to vacation to Caribbean destinations?
That's the scary thought. From an insurance perspective, I can tell you the following. It's a known cause as of January 3rd. That's the day that the Canadian government called the travel advisory. So anybody who purchased cancellation or interruption insurance up to that date, they're in good shape. They could claim if they couldn't get to the country that they were planning on going to, which is not just Venezuela, it's Caribbean countries that could be affected here. So that's a very scary thought. In the next few days, we'll find out more about this. But again, Canadians planning trips, they can say, I'm not going to Venezuela, but if you were going to Punta Cana, or you were going to St. Bart's, you were going to Turks and Caicos, those are the countries that were affected 20 hours ago by air travel. So the question is, what will people do who have plans for those countries also?
Are you seeing clients already reacting to this, Marty?
Big time. I mean, it's the weekend, but I've been getting calls from people saying, I bought that cancellation insurance. Will I have coverage if we have to cancel? The worst part is I don't have an answer today. Hopefully tomorrow or the next day I will. So that's really important. From a medical insurance perspective, know now that once the advisory has been called for Venezuela, that there is no coverage for any medical issue that one would have that they could link to the reason why the advisory was called. So if you were in a robbery or hurt or shot or something like that, no coverage. So people have to be very wary. We also don't have an embassy since 2019. Canada doesn't. So there's no one to even go to if you're having a problem. Bottom line is you have to avoid Venezuela 100%. The question is, what about all the other neighboring countries?
Great advice. Marty, thank you so much. Marty Firestone is the president of Travel Secure Incorporated.